A chilling series of atrocities spanning 3 years, 13 defenseless cats, all of them stray, fell victim to brutal mutilation and murder, their carcasses intentionally displayed, as is to taunt and instill fear, leaving a trail of shock and horror. This video sheds light on the vicious killing spree of cats and the subsequent apprehension of the perpetrator. In 2019, Handong University in the southeastern South Korean city of Pohang became the center of a series of heartbreaking stray cat mutilations and murders. The university is home to a student club called Handong Yang, whose members selflessly work to promote the welfare and care of stray cats. From August 2019 to March 2020, a total of 7 stray cats and 5 unborn kittens met untimely and gruesome ends at Handong University, particularly around a building called Vision Hall. The chronology of events reveals a chilling escalation of violence inflicted upon these defenseless cats. The series of atrocities began when Cat A was discovered trapped in an illegally set snare on the campus, barely clinging to life and facing the threat of amputation. Outdoor cat shelters for the winter season, as well as items from cat feeding stations, fell victim to vandalism and theft. A menacing note demanding the cessation of all cat club activities was left behind, using a disparaging term called cat mom vermin to refer to the caretakers of stray cats. The note threatened to inflict further harm on the cats if the demands were not met. The campus was soon plastered with signs calling for an end to feral cat feeding and club activities. Then Cat B was found with its front paws amputated and callously dumped on the lawn near the student cafeteria. Cat C, also with its front paws amputated, was discovered next to a wheelbarrow outside Vision Hall. The scene turned even more horrific when 5 animal fetuses, the placentas still attached, were found on the road leading to the gate of Handong University. Next to the fetuses lay the 2 ears of an adult cat, which had been ruthlessly sliced off. The fetuses, believed to be kittens, were apparently forcibly removed from their mother's womb and left in the middle of the street in grotesque fashion. Next, Cat D was found lifeless in a trap placed in front of Vision Hall's outdoor air conditioning unit, followed by the discovery of Cat E with 3 gruesome injuries and covered in blood dumped outside the same building. Although the exact cause of death was not determined, experts suspected poison as the primary cause. During this period, outdoor cat shelters were repeatedly removed from their original locations, dumped on the grass, and cat supplies were stolen. A warning sign demanding that the club dispose of such cat items was found at the entrance of the student cafeteria. Then Cat A was found tied to a wire and hanging from a 6-meter-tall tree near Vision Hall, eliciting horror and outrage. Next, Cat G was found dead in the middle of a road on campus, tied with a green knotted rope, followed by another cat also found tied to a wire and hanging from an alley wall of a building in Pohang. A caller reported hearing a cat crying and discovering a dead cat hanging from a tree near a dumpster on campus. A warning sign was left on the wall of a white container warehouse next to the student cafeteria. The words, "Do not feed feral cats," were spray-painted in black on an outdoor air conditioning unit at Vision Hall, with rat poison scattered around. The place is frequented by cats, and the university uses rat traps, not poison, for rat control. Up to this point, a total of 7 cats had been found dead, but many of the stray cats on campus had disappeared. At least 10 more cats were believed to have been victims of abuse and murder. Despite reporting these incidents to the police, the lack of comprehensive campus CCTV cameras impeded the identification of the perpetrator. Horrified students also felt an increasing sense of personal threat as these sickening incidents unfolded before their eyes in close proximity to dorms and footpaths. Frustrations mounted as the police cited the absence of CCTV camera footage, leaving students vulnerable to potential harm. Although the killings ceased temporarily once the police initiated an investigation, the situation took a shocking turn when, on the 20th of June 2022, the lifeless body of a 4-month-old stray kitten was discovered near an elementary school in Pohang. The kitten was strangled and hanging by a cord above a cat feeding station in front of the school, its face brutally crushed. Accompanying the scene was a warning notice bearing a forged official logo of the city of Pohang, proclaiming that the feeding of feral cats is definitely illegal and constitutes a crime. The perpetrator had once again evaded detection by surveillance cameras, but this time, he was caught on dashcam footage from a nearby parked car. The evidence captured by the dashcam led to the identification and arrest of Kim Do-pyo, a man in his 30s, 9 days after the latest incident. he was found in possession of incriminating evidence at the time of his arrest, including what appeared to be the same type of cord used to strangle the kitten, a high-powered BB gun, and a notebook. Investigations revealed the chilling extent of his sadistic cruelty and obsession with cat abuse. In his notebook, investigators discovered a meticulous diary chronicling his crimes, including the appalling torture and killings of cats, and the method used to evade detection. More shockingly, it was also uncovered that he had operated a YouTube channel entirely dedicated to cat abuse, featuring videos of cats being tormented, drowned, and subjected to unspeakable cruelty. Channel description was laced with religious references and a blistering tirade against feral cats, providing a glimpse into the dark depths of his disturbed mind. Speculating on the motives behind these heinous crimes, the perpetrator left behind chilling warning notices that aimed to justify his actions. One notice read, "The illegal feeding of feral cats is banned," and included messages hinting at deep-seated hatred of cats, while also claiming that students and locals opposed providing them with food. In his disturbing messages, the perpetrator argued, leaving food for feral cats has detrimental environmental effects and causes hygienic problems. Illegal feeding of feral cats is animal cruelty to native species and human cruelty to people, he said. He explained in detail why one should not take care of feral cats, and listed religious, legal, and veterinary reasons to justify his actions. He asserted that infectious diseases carried by cats can be transmitted to humans through their hair and breath, and cited legal provisions and scientific data to underline the perceived dangers. Furthermore, he contended that feral cats kill birds and other wildlife for mere amusement, and are thus responsible for the destruction of nature and ecosystem. The phrases he used, such as, "It is the way of nature to weed out the weak," and "cat moms have a mentality of alienating humans," further underscored his distorted perspective. Perpetrator, who was unemployed, rode a motorcycle to commit his signature crimes of posting warnings, mutilating and killing cats, and exhibiting their bodies for 35 months. Adding to the horror, the killer's modus operandi was to hang the cats on a cross after driving nails through their paws. It is possible that he saw himself as a self-proclaimed enforcer of justice, employing the warnings and the cross as a means to legitimize his monstrous acts. Another piece of the puzzle lies in the perpetrator's application for a refugee visa in another country. In the visa application, he said he has taken action against the illegal feeding of feral cats in public places in South Korea since 2017 and claimed that his identity and home address had been exposed, resulting in threats, slander, and false accusations of his acts of cruelty to animals reported by the country's press, stating that even though he was not found guilty of these charges, he was harassed, making him feel persecuted and violated. Citing these reasons for seeking asylum, he presented his experiences as the basis for his claims. In the warning notices, the perpetrator asserted that not only he, but also other people and students were being harmed by the presence of feral cats. He maintained that the loud cries of feral cats, whose numbers had exploded due to feeding, caused sleepless nights and terror among some students. These statements then morphed into assertions about personal threats, defamation, and collective and nationwide persecution against them. South Korea's animal protection law states that acts of cruelty resulting in the death of an animal is punishable by up to 3 years in prison or a fine of up to 30 million won, which is about $23,000. However, no one has ever been sentenced to the maximum 3-year prison term. Criminal psychologists pointed out that although cats were the perpetrator's chosen objects of murder, his criminal behavior and anger were clearly aimed at humans, and that his methods and messages contained ominous signs of danger to people. On September 21, 2022, Kim Do-pyu was sentenced to a 2-year and 6-month prison term in the first trial, which was later upheld on appeal. This sentence, so lenient in view of the fiendish crimes committed, sparked public outrage and calls for reform of animal welfare legislation. Animal rights advocates and groups in South Korea stress the urgent need for more severe legal sanctions, and are working tirelessly to prevent acts of cruelty to animals and to raise public awareness of animal welfare, hoping to see the day when no more animals would suffer horrific abuse. The serial cat killer has confessed to killing a total of 13 stray cats. Do you believe he told the truth, or do you think the actual number is much higher than this?